Hello, I'm Kathleen Maracchio. I'm a library assistant for San Antonio Public Libraries. And we're back in the garden after a lot of rain. As you can see, the garden has become quite lush. And that's great because the rain came with lots of minerals that feed the plant and the soil. But it also makes for a lot of weeding and good work, such as pruning. Let's get to it. Eggplant. Fruiting and in flower. We talked about how to help along the pollination process with a Q-tip, but even just a gentle shake is enough. Just shake it a little bit. The pollinators shake things up when they come to visit. These flowers, just like the tomato plant flowers, are both male and female. You can't see the pollen, but it's there. And I'm so delighted that it's already begun fruiting. Eggplant is a nightshade. And you can see these two plants are doing quite well since they were treated with this natural organic pesticide that my good friend and sister-in-law Christy made for me. It's also a great household cleaner. It's lemon, lavender, and orange with water. So you shake it well, and a little will do you, just like that. A little is enough. I'm even spraying some of the fruit and the undersides of the leaves. And it does need some trimming. The leaves on the bottom, in particular, you can see that they are closest to the soil and will often attract pests, which will use them to climb up and down and attack the bottom leaves. And again, we want to help the plant save its energy and redirect it to the production of delicious, healthy fruits and vegetables. I'd say just enough from the bottom where it comes up from the ground, about 6 inches or so. And of course, after all this rain, there's plenty of weeding to be done. Well, my friends, it's great to spend this time with you, and I wish you happy growing. Alrighty, so we talked about how the mineral-rich rain helped everything become very lush and green and productive. The cherry tomatoes that are ready should come off right in your hand. You can see they're free of pest or injury. It's a good thing to harvest them as soon as you can. And this has become rather overgrown. So I think I'll stop what I'm doing right now because I'm not really able to reach the rest, because after all that rain, things have become rather overgrown, and we do have leaf miner activity and some other visible signs of pests. And that's where pruning comes in. We do see a lot of feeders on the bottom, and just like with the eggplant, items that are touching the soil. So it is time to get to work on this. Don't be afraid to take off large limbs, because it really is better for the plant. And you can see it's become very overgrown. There's the original tag from when I first purchased these and planted them. Well, there's a lot of work to be done because I am hopeful to keep this beautiful garden productive into the season, and I would very much like to be able to reach the tomatoes, some of which are already ripe that I can see deep in the interior. Well, much work to be done. Might as well get to it. And here we have the spinach that we planted the last time we were in the garden together. It came up pretty quick. It was only a few weeks ago. And that's the beauty of this variety of spinach, Malabar spinach. As you can see, that which came up earlier in the season did need a place to vine. I'm going to harvest this younger patch because it will make great tender leaves for my mixed salad tonight. Okay, let's do this together. The ground is still very soft, and as you can see, it came up very easily. After cleaning, it is all edible from root to tip. But I'll be using these leaves tonight and using the rest of the spinach for other dishes, such as I would any traditional green in stews or soups. Well, it's back to the eggplant. This variety is known as burpee patio eggplant. They don't get very large, such as the ones you're used to in the grocery, in the produce section. This one's just about ripe enough because the bottom is not green anymore. There's just a little bit of green on the very bottom. However, it's nice and glossy and free of injury and pests, and it's better to pick it just underripe rather than let it grow dull and too past its harvesting time. So I'm using a clean pair of shears or scissors. I don't use the same pair for each plant. And I am going to leave just enough of the stem right on top of where the flower cap began, right there. Let's do that together right now. There we are. Lovely. And I see there is another here. Let's see what this one looks like. That one's a little dull on the bottom. Has a lot of green going on, but as I said, it's better to harvest them sooner than too much later. Just like that. And I see there are more here near the bottom. Alrighty. So here we have some lovely purple patio eggplant. A big part of the satisfaction of maintaining a garden is to harvest the fruits of your labor. Here we have the cherry tomatoes, the patio eggplant, some basil, and fresh parsley. But the work continues. The chocolate chip mint has become rather lush and a little overgrown since all the spring rain, and it is time for some more pruning. Now, this is of the mint family, and like the basil, the leaves are bifurcated. They grow two at a time, and like the basil, the space between the nodes, that is, each set of leaves, grows longer as the plant grows taller. Let's trim this one together. All right, it's a busy morning here in South Central Texas. You can hear the birds and the traffic alike, but a city garden is just as enjoyable and plentiful as any other. All right, so here we have the first node, the second, the third, the fourth, and a fifth. Because this particular plant is so tall now, I'm going to go just below the fifth and above the sixth node. A member of the mint family, this herb is very fragrant and somewhat sweet like the stevia. One of my favorite things to do with chocolate chip mint is to muddle it in my iced tea or just have it in the house to provide some beauty and fragrance. And here we have it. After much weeding and culling of that which is no longer fruitful, we do have a garden that is still producing. Though the tomatoes look kind of thin, don't worry, there's plenty of summer left. And you can see what's left of our work, those weeds and items that will all go to the compost on the other side of the yard. And here we have our lavender and our stevia, both about 1.5 feet tall. The lavender has not gone into flower and is just right for harvesting. Whether it's fresh or dried, these will make great sachets and a great addition to any flower arrangements I bring into the house. Also, the stevia, that can be used in fragrant salads such as the watermelon bacon salad, or I can combine the stevia with this chocolate chip mint and muddle it in the bottom of a glass of iced tea. Now we'll return to the Malabar spinach. I showed you earlier in the season how we planted this, and I told you that I would let at least one area go into flower and then fruit. And deep inside these bright purple berries are the seeds that you saw me plant earlier in the season. I can take these and dry them inside or just let them fall to the ground. I tend to do both. Now, I've shown you what you can expect, but sometimes things crop up that are unexpected, such as the cantaloupe. I thought this was summer squash, but this is a happy surprise. A seed or two must have come up after I turned the soil. It's rather invasive. I'm having to move it around the Italian oregano and the English thyme, but I'm happy to let it stay here and thrive. It is a sweet surprise. The cantaloupe, starting out smooth, will have a lot more texture as it grows. The stem here will become brown and easily separate from the top of the melon, and the bottom will become a little darker, and that will be just the right time to harvest and enjoy this sweet treat. Well, it's been a great spring and summer gardening together with you. For any projects you have in mind this summer, or for more information, visit mysapl.org or call 210-207-2500.